We're checking in with local restaurants after a busy first weekend in the green phase.
The Department of Health and Human Resources with a dire warning as they believe we may not have much more time to get the coronavirus under control in the United States.
Find out why the blood bank is open on a Sunday, giving donors more time to save lives.
In high definition from your news leader, this is 1024 Action News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Brian Wilk. It's been a busy weekend for restaurants across Erie County, allowing guests back into the dining room. Now, Star Bodie checked in at some local restaurants to see how the transition has been going and what you can expect if you're heading out for a bite to eat in the green phase. She joins us in the newsroom with more. Hey, Star.
Hi, Brian. It's the first weekend back in months. Restaurants are inviting people back inside for indoor dining. Managers and bartenders we spoke to tell us that they're ecstatic to have people back. It's a moment of normalcy restaurant owners have been looking forward to.
Things are good. We've had a good amount of people in. Sales are up. The weather's been great, so the inside seating is definitely helping. Restaurants
across Erie County are welcoming back its guests for indoor dining. This comes after Erie County received the okay to head into the green phase on Friday. Further south on State Street, Plymouth Tavern is also inviting back guests for indoor dining.
Actually, very smooth. We keep everybody updated, and we're all in group chats, and we're just doing our best here to keep ourselves and everybody else around us safe.
You'll see some changes inside of Plymouth Tavern, like plexiglass in front of the beer well as a safety measure for bartenders while preparing drinks. Another local restaurant is taking a step further in the green phase to make sure everyone feels safe while they're dining in.
We meet every day with our staff before each shift, before lunch and dinner. We go over any pertinent information. We go over sanitation focuses for the day, anything new that comes from the state.
Chairs at the bar will also be spaced out, and only half of the tables will be in use at the Cork 1794. Now, managers tell us overall it's been a very busy weekend for the first weekend back, and that the community's support has been tremendous during their first weekend back in the green phase. Brian?
Thank you, Star. One person was taken to the hospital following a rollover accident in Fairview Sunday evening. It's new tonight at 11. Now, rescue crews were called to the 8,000 block of Avonia and Market Road around 5:30. When they arrived, crews found a heavily damaged pickup truck in a ditch. First responders pulled the driver out of the vehicle and they were transported to a local hospital for treatment. There's no word yet on what caused the accident. And a dire warning from the head of the Department of Health and Human Services. The window is closing to get the coronavirus under control in the United States. Whitney Wild brings us the latest from Washington.
Over the weekend, coronavirus took no breaks. 36 states are watching the numbers of infections increase. Only 2 states, Connecticut and Rhode Island, are seeing COVID-19 cases decline. In California, some businesses are shutting down again just days after opening their doors.
At some point, we have to say this is where we are as a business and as a state, and we're going to adjust.
Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says along with the jump in cases, hospitalizations in southern states are also on the rise.
This is a very, very serious situation, and the window is closing for us to take action and get this under control.
Florida reported almost 9,600 new coronavirus cases Saturday, yet another single-day record for the state since the pandemic began.
If you look at that 25 to 34 age group, that is now by far the leading age group for positive tests in the state of Florida.
Even with more infections nationwide, Secretary Azar maintains the United States is in a better position than ever before to track and treat the virus.
We now have 3 therapeutics. We have hospital capacity. We have reserves of personal protective equipment. We're speeding our way towards having vaccine.
In Washington, Whitney Wild, Jet 24 Action News.
And here's a look at the latest numbers of positive COVID-19 cases across the region. According to the Pennsylvania Department of Health, there were 505 additional cases of COVID-19 reported, bringing the total to over 85,000. In addition, there were 3 new deaths, bringing that total to 6,000 606. Here in Erie County, the County Department of Health reporting the total number of positive COVID-19 cases to be 589. Crawford County reporting 51 cases tonight. Warren County still reporting 5. Chautauqua County, New York reporting 128 cases. And Ashtabula County, Ohio reporting 415 cases. And the president is facing some criticism over his response to the New York Times report published this past Friday saying that Russia was looking to pay the Taliban to kill U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with the story.
President Trump responding today to a New York Times report that a Russian military unit secretly offered to pay the Taliban to kill American troops in Afghanistan. The Times also claiming President Trump was briefed on the findings. The president lashing out on Twitter, writing, "Nobody briefed or told me about so-called attacks on our troops in Afghanistan by Russia," adding, "Nobody's been tougher on Russia than the Trump administration." Last year, 23 U.S. troops died in Afghanistan, but whether any were targeted by Taliban fighters paid by Russian operatives is not known. A military official confirming to ABC News that Russian intelligence allegedly did offer to pay militants to kill U.S. service members, but did not know if the president had been briefed.
This is as bad as it gets. And yet the president will not confront the Russians on this score.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on ABC's This Week telling George Stephanopoulos it was totally outrageous that the president did not respond to the intelligence reports.
You would think that the minute the president heard of it, he would want to know more instead of denying that he knew anything.
She said top congressional leaders were not aware of the intelligence, but will be seeking answers to determine if the president was briefed. The president's former national security advisor telling CNN's Jake Tapper the president's reaction shows his fundamental focus is not on national security, adding that if the president had not been briefed, he should have been asking questions as soon as the Times report came out.
Call up the national security advisor, the director of national intelligence, somebody, and said, what's going on here? What are the facts? Now, if that didn't happen in the last 48 hours, that in and of itself is disturbing.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
And officials say 4 men are charged with destruction of federal property for allegedly trying to bring down a statue near the White House. Now, the monument to President Andrew Jackson is controversial because of his treatment of Native Americans. The U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. says the Department of Justice has issued the charges. The DOJ says it has video showing at least 3 of them trying to bring down the statue. And Mississippi residents will likely be able to vote on a new state flag in November. A bill to replace it is going to Governor Tate Reeves, who says he will sign it. Now, both the state and House and Senate passed the legislation Sunday. The bill would establish a commission to redesign the flag. It mandates that the emblem include the phrase, "In God We Trust." Other than that, voters have the final say. Mississippi is the last state with the Confederate battle emblem as part of its flag, but other states have Confederate imagery in their flag designs. And a Corey man is behind bars after allegedly strangling a woman in Warren County. Now, this happened on Route 6 in Columbus Township Saturday evening. Now, according to state police in Warren, 36-year-old Tab DePaul Hunter Jr. allegedly strangled a 41-year-old woman at the residence. Now, another female there tried to stop the assault, but Hunter pulled a gun on her, firing several rounds. Now, Hunter then slashed the victim's tires before firing several rounds into the vehicle. He was arrested on attempted homicide and aggravated assault. He's in the Warren County Jail, and the investigation continues. And coming up on Jet 24 Action News at 11, hundreds of boats and even a skydiver were at Conneaut Lake this afternoon to show support for President Trump. That's after Craig's forecast. Hey, Craig.
Right, great finish to the weekend, and we're going to keep working, keep them coming. Complete forecast coming up.
From your news leader, you're watching Brian Wilk, meteorologist Craig Flint, and Mike Fenner with sports. This is Jet 24 Action News.